it's Dr. Kathleen Walls here of Dr. Walls and Friends, and I am here with a very exciting guest today, Ms. Carona Davis-Diop. We'll be back in a moment to learn more about all that she does. I'm Dr. Kathleen Walls.
And I am Chantal from the House of Chantal.
And you are watching
Dr. Walls and Friends on UCCN.
My purpose is, and my passion's name. Can I get through this? Can I find my way? Though the road is long and the mountain high, I will journey on, live my greatest life, yeah. Dr. Walls and Friends, Dr. Walls and Friends, Dr. Walls and Friends, Dr. Walls and Friends.
Welcome back to Dr. Walls and Friends. I am here with guests to the show who has actually known of me for years, and I've known of her for years, but this is the first time that we're meeting. So welcome, Miss Carona Davis-Diop. How are you doing today?
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad to finally be here and meet you guys.
Yes, we are so glad you were able to come down to the studio today. So much to talk about.
Yes.
So let's do a quick introduction of who you are and what you do.
My name is Carona Davis-Diop, and I'm a filmmaker and producer, director, writer, all that good fun stuff.
Yes, yes. All that stuff that influences people's lives.
Yes. And past maybe 2-3 years, I've been working on film projects. I used to own a fashion boutique
Really?
in Frenchtown, New Jersey. And I found myself like really sad and depressed, and it was a good business, but my heart wasn't in it.
Yeah.
So I did a couple of prayers and sat down, talked to my husband and my family, and decided to close down the boutique.
Okay.
And I went next door and opened up a little studio.
Wow.
So from there, everything's just been rolling.
Oh my goodness. Now let's take a moment because it's so funny. I know so many people that want to be fashion designers and own a boutique and so forth. And here you were doing that, but it wasn't bringing you the joy and the passion that you felt. So you knew that you had a different purpose, a different calling.
Right.
Now, when you shut this store down, do you remember when you made that decision and you finally shut it down? Do you remember any feeling, like a feeling of relief, a feeling of release?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the exact feeling. Feeling scared and happy at the same time, reborn, that type of thing.
Okay.
I mean, it was to a point where I was physically getting ill.
Yeah.
I was so unhappy.
Yeah.
Making that decision, I actually closed that down and started working from home
Okay.
because it gave me a little more time with the kids and, all of that stuff. But I was scared.
Yeah.
I have this new thing now where I challenge myself to come out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
That's what it's about,
Yes.
pushing yourself out that comfort zone.
Exactly. And you know what I often say to people too, that sometimes it's not so much coming out of your comfort zone as it is expanding your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
now this is something more that you can do than
Right.
what you were doing before.
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually grew up around it, so it's
Okay.
not a surprise.
Aha.
Yeah, I grew up in Greenwich Village.
Okay. You right there.
Right
In
there,
the heart of
smack
it.
dab, yeah.
All right, so you shut that store down. You had all of the feelings emerging, which you paid attention to. You talked to family, friends, support system. Then when did you know I want to do the film piece?
When did I know? When I had the shop, the boutique, I had finished written my first book called The Opening. And I had a big, beautiful poster in the window. So maybe my boutique people come in and buy the book.
Okay.
I would say I found out the third day a customer came in and said, "Where's this movie playing?"
Okay.
So I would say, "What movie?" And they're like, "You have a big poster you know, in the window, you know, their theater isn't close by, or I'm like, no. And they're like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I wrote it, so I'm quite sure it's not playing anywhere. So by the time that the third person came in and did that, I was like, somebody's telling me I need to make this into a movie. Yeah. So that was my first project.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the opening.
Okay.
What was that like? How did that idea even come to you?
I think it came to me as a young girl. I would say maybe 14, 15.
Okay.
I've always been the angels in spirituality.
Okay.
And my all-time favorite angel is Michael.
Yes.
Or Mikael in Arabic. Always having the dreams and the visions and the sounds. And that's what got me to write this book. I said I want people who are going through the same thing spiritually to know there's someone out there who's going through the same thing.
Yes. Yes. I know some people are watching our Facebook Live tape right now, and they're hearing that, and they're saying yes, and they're shaking their little tambourine like yes, because it ends up being a segment of the population that many times feels unheard. And so to have someone writing on their behalf is wonderful. All right. So you had it in you, and then finally it emerged at this time in your life.
Yes.
And what was that writing process like for you?
When I first started, I was living in Georgia, and somehow, some way, the creator always put people around me who boost me up. Very rarely. So it's easy when you always surrounded with that in your life, it's easy for you to say, okay, let's do this now, because you have all of this support. The worst enemy would be yourself. My worst enemy was myself.
In what way?
The procrastination. Oh, you can't do it. There's people out here who's been doing this longer than you. You know, what do you think you're doing? Who do you think you are? And then my stronger self come back and say, you know, I'm a badass woman. I mean, how many people could say they made 3 movies and wrote a book in 2 years?
I don't know too many.
So I'm like, I try to, you know, I get that for a second and then I go away, you know, push it away and start doing something else.
Yes, yes. So now so you wrote this book when? What year?
I wrote this book, I would say 4 years ago.
Okay. And during that time, as you said, initially it was not in your mind that it would be a movie. Do you ever remember having any glimpses, like when you were writing, that you could see it so clearly as if it were a movie?
That's funny, no.
Okay.
I just wasn't thinking that big or far ahead.
Okay, all right.
So like I said, I think being brought people in my life telling me you should do this or you can do it. There are people who actually tell me they see it.
Okay.
So the more information and pull and push I'm getting from customers and friends, then I start seeing it.
Yes.
And then I start building higher and higher.
I think that's so important. You know, my husband and I often talk about it's that sometimes you get a part and somebody else gets a part. You get a piece, somebody else gets a piece. And then it's important for that communication to happen because getting all the pieces together makes the entire picture, the puzzle.
Right.
So tell us, as far as where can people buy the book?
The book is on Amazon, Amazon.com.
Okay.
Right now, I'm in the middle of editing the movie. So one thing I would like to say is for anybody who's writing a project or shooting a project, be very careful of who is within the reach of your project. Be very careful because the opening is like 2 years overdue.
Okay.
And it's because I went through a battle with, you know, watch your work. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
You know.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a suspenseful cliffhanger break at this moment. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back in a moment on Dr. Walls and Friends.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kathleen Walls, co-owner of Green Street Animal Care. And I'm here to inform you of the services that we provide here at GSAC. Your furry friends can come here for boarding, for pet sitting, daycare, for grooming, and also for wellness checks. A new addition to what we provide is microchips. We feel it is so important that each animal receives a microchip. Unfortunately, sometimes our furry friends and family get lost, sometimes they get off of their leash, and sometimes they leave the home unexpectedly. And they're found. And with the microchip, this is a way to help ensure that they get back home safely. So be sure to come to GSAC where you can receive a microchip for your furry friend or family. Welcome back to Dr. Walls and Friends, and we are picking up from that cliffhanger from that last segment where you where you were talking about your book, The Opening,
Yes.
and the importance of guarding your work. Now, I know with the story of The Matrix and the woman who wrote The Matrix and how that got stolen by people and went into a lawsuit and finally came back, and I know that was a kind of a big message to the world as a reminder to guard your work. But here you got this message again a couple of years ago.
Right.
So depending on what you're able to talk about, because I know sometimes with lawsuits and things you can't talk about everything. What is it, what message would you like to give people about this process?
My message is contracts. Contracts, write it down on paper. Never use verbal commitment for anything in this field. A big mistake. The last day of shooting, I had a director that when we said cut, everybody celebrating, yeah, let's go edit this movie. He said, I'm not giving it to you.
Oh, no.
Straight out, I'm not giving it to you. And it took me 2 years, but I got it back.
Oh, that, oh.
Yeah.
I'm
So
feeling
talk
it.
about the pain
Yes.
and disappointment, and you trust this person for a year,
Yes.
and they come to you and they're like, you're not getting it back.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. And I'm thinking about the whole process because here it started out as a book. You weren't even thinking about turning it into a movie.
It took me 2 weeks to write the screenplay from the book.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? Do me a favor. Explain to the audience the different, what is a screenplay?
A screenplay is like the verbiage between characters in a movie,
Okay.
the actions.
And so when it comes to a book, so how many pages is the opening?
The opening, I would say like 200 pages.
And then the screenplay ends up being how many
The
pages?
screenplay, I think, was like 50 to 100.
So how does
something
that
like that.
happen? How do you shift from one to the other?
It's different because in the book, you have to give detail. You have to, because I'm reading it and I have to guide you through a visual.
Oh.
With the screenplay, it's the same thing, but you have people acting it out. So it's like you have to take that visual and like cut it down. Like
Yes. Yes.
it's a job.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And so you did that yourself.
Yes.
And what was that like for you to pick and choose what would remain, what would be seen?
That's a story in itself too.
Well, we're here to talk about it.
I had to make sure that whatever I did, the pieces that I kept would get to my public's spirit. Scenes with the angels, scenes talking about God and the devil, things like that. I just had to make sure stayed in, you know, even if the dialogue was too long. You know, I need people to hear this story.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people across color and religion will get it and understand it. So, I mean, the whole thing is a process, but
Yeah.
it's going good.
And I think it's so integral that you're a part of that process. Because I know sometimes people with books will hand it over to someone else to do the screenwriting, and I don't know how long that takes for them to get on one accord. But being able to display on screen the messages that you want to put across, I would imagine it makes it, I dare to use the word easier or better that the person who wrote the book is also doing the screenplay.
Because I don't think anybody can get your spiritual message across. Because
That's a good point.
that's a diamond that belongs to you, and only you can, you know, expel it the way you want to get it out there.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, I'm excited. Okay, so now 2 years have passed, so that means where are we now in this process?
2 years, I'm on a third, I'm on my third project. And I have people emailing me and messaging me on social media asking if they can work with me.
Wow.
But I'm like one person doing the editing, the writing, and so it's taking time.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. So this has been a major shift in your life.
Yes.
Okay.
Shift is the perfect word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, so let's look. So the opening, are people able to see it now? Is
No,
it done? You're
no.
still not able to see
Right.
it yet?
I'm editing.
You're editing
And when
now.
it does come out, it'll go in film festivals.
Okay.
And I will put it in a theater.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to
all
have
right.
a screening in a theater.
Okay. Well, that'll be exciting.
I got your name and number.
All right. All
I see that look. I got you.
And of course, we'll let you all know when that happens so you can be on the lookout for it. But the book they can buy on Amazon.
Yes.
All right. You just have to wait for the movie. So they have to run their own movie in their head right now and wait to see how you tell that part of the story.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So that's one project.
hmm
What's another project that you've worked on?
I have a project that's completed called Unhinged,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a 12 to 14 minute supernatural
Yes.
short film.
All right.
Yeah. So it's about this woman who leaves home as a teenager, and she returns home to not take care of her parents, but take care of her parents. Take care of her parents. So, what the premise of the film is, I have everyone thinking that she ran away from home because she's being abused,
Okay.
and then come to find out is a twist.
Oh, because
She's
that's
not-
exactly what I thought when I read the synopsis.
Yeah, it's a twist.
Uh-oh. All right. So Unhinged. Now, is that a book also?
No,
Or
that's just a short
strictly a
film.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where can people see
And
that
that's
film?
getting ready to be on Amazon Prime. That's not.
You can take the tambourine too if you
Woo!
want
Amazon
to.
Prime.
That's right. And I'm a Prime member.
So another thing a lot of filmmakers don't know, and actors, I have my actors who's been doing this longer than me, they didn't know that you can upload your project to Amazon.
Really? Boy, we are learning a lot today.
So now as long
Yeah.
as you have closed caption,
Yes.
which only costs me, I think, $1 a minute.
Okay.
So I only have a 12-minute movie.
Yes.
It only cost me $12.
That works.
$12. And you have to have that be on Amazon Prime, and you have to have the right poster. Your poster has to be on fleek,
Okay.
on the
Okay.
size, or they send it back. I know, cause. But yeah, it's about to. In the next week, it should be uploaded.
Oh, I'm excited.
You know,
All right.
a lot of filmmakers are actually uploading
Wow.
to get their work out there.
All right, filmmakers, so you heard it from another
Get your work
filmmaker.
out there.
Yes, it's important. And I will tell you, I am a person that goes through the Amazon Prime movies, and I look at shorts, and I look at
Yes,
full
me
features,
too. Me
all
too.
of that. And my husband and I, we watch the credits. We do all of it. Because
Good.
for people who take time, we think it's important to
Yes.
give that energy back to
That's
those
right.
people as well.
That's right.
All right.
I try to let people know the big box office came from the little guy
That's
first.
right. It's
That's
the
right.
truth. And there's so many avenues now. There's so much work that's out there that's good.
Yeah.
And it needs to be supported in all
Yes.
of its various venues.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. All right. So now the opening, Unhinged. What else?
The opening Unhinged, Masters of Ascension.
Okay. And what is that?
So that's my first episodic series.
Uh-huh.
So I did one episode, and I said, okay, people, we're going to do one episode because I'm one person. I'm doing all this stuff. Let's see if everybody likes it.
Okay.
So I said, we're going to put it on YouTube, see what happens.
Uh-huh.
So the first night I put it on YouTube, I'm getting phone calls from my family and the rest of the cast, and they're like, okay, when are we doing number 2?
Wow.
Because we got a lot of hits the first couple of weeks.
Wow. Okay.
So everybody's waiting for the second. But of course,
Yes.
I'm working on the opening.
Uh-huh.
But Masters of Ascension is another spiritual film
Mm-hmm.
about I don't know if you see my daughter on my Facebook page. She's a starring actress in there, and she plays a 1,000-year-old elder.
Okay.
So
I
you have
love
all
this
of these
already.
adults with these supernatural powers listening to this kid,
Yes.
and she's really not a kid. She knows more than they do.
Right,
You know, she
right.
was here before everything
She's
started.
like Benjamin Button. She looks
Right,
really good for her
right.
age.
She just looked like a cute baby.
Right.
So the best scene you have to check out,
Yes.
it's on my page, is when they're walking in the house. She brings all the characters together. She brings 4 people together with supernatural powers.
Okay.
And they walk in, and one of them are like, "You're kidding me. Like, who is this kid?" And she's like, "You know, you have a problem." And they're standing next to a chair, and he looks at her, and she's like, "Are you ready to talk now?" And the chair moves out by itself. She waves her hand, and the chair comes out, and then it gets quiet and cuts off. It's good. It's good.
Nice. What was it like for her to act?
She also starred in the opening, so she's used to it now.
Okay.
We're talking about working with a hormonal 11, 12-year-old, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
She's awesome, though. She did really good.
Oh, that's good. Now, what's it like for you to cast people in these different roles, to see what you've written on paper and then see someone personified?
I'm laughing because I can't believe I'm sitting here talking about this stuff. Casting was something else I was afraid to do because it's something I never did before.
Yeah.
I casted more through spirit and feeling. If I felt the person attached to my character, what kind of energy they brought in when they came in was a main. I would say looks came third.
Okay.
Looks came third.
And I think that's so good to know, because so many times people will think, well, I don't look the part, or they won't pick me because of what I look like. But the fact that it's whether or not they are bringing a certain energy, feeling to this space, and the personification of the role can overpower the look.
Right.
So I think that's important. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back in a moment. We'll be back in a moment on Dr. Walls and Friends.
Everybody, it's Dr. Kathleen Walls here, and I'm here to tell you about Walls of Wellness. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you may already know that I have a Walls of Wellness page where I provide inspirational quotes, food for thought, and encouraging words to help you along your wellness journey. We're going to also start doing video clips like this one, where I'll expand and explain a little bit more of the wellness tips so that you can live a wow life.
And if casting was something, one, that it sounds like you didn't imagine that you would ever be doing, but then also a fear. You mentioned the word fear. My question to you is, how did you get past the fear?
A lot of self-talk, a lot of looking in the mirror, and I call myself a self-checker.
Okay.
And I always tell people I'm really proud of being a self-checker, because I know how to say, okay, Carona, you need to slow down. Okay, Carona, you need to get your behind up and start writing. Okay, you need to start procrastinating. You know, you need to own this.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of, if you don't have that self fulfillment, or if you're not feeling yourself, period, it's going to be hard for you to boost yourself up.
Yes.
You can't expect exterior, you know, people
Support,
around, right,
encouragement.
right. If you don't have it for yourself.
It's the truth. It's funny, you know, actually I have a segment on Instagram called Walls of Wellness, and I was talking about encouragement. And the more I started to say the word, the more I started to hear encouragement, the courage within that we have to tap into in order to do these things, in order to live. My motto is for people to live their greatest life.
That's right.
In order to live your greatest life. Yes, it's great if you get that external cheerleading and support, but still, it's you that has to do the work.
That's right.
So you have to pour into yourself, or sometimes pull up.
Because when you get that, when you do finally get it, it just builds you up, and it brings the same energy towards you, people with the same ideas and emotions.
Yes,
and
talk about it.
you pull that closer to you. Whereas if you're negative, that's what you're going to get.
Exactly.
And that's how I was, and that's what I got. So I changed it. Self-checker.
Yeah, there we go.
Got to stop messing with these people, Carona.
Yes.
You know, you got to stop dealing with this garbage, you know.
I don't know, is Self-Checker going to be a new book?
Oh, hey,
Hey.
wait a minute. a good one. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to call you up on
Yeah,
that
okay,
one,
we'll
girl.
talk about that.
Look out for self checker.
2021, self-checker coming to you. That's right. And it's so, I have a couple ideas already. Wait till we get off camera. I think it's so important. So now let's talk about this. You know, your genre, your niche really has to do with, I would say, spirituality. Some people would call it supernatural. It may fall in both. How would you say that this work has impacted or influenced your spiritual development?
It made me realize how, not just how strong I am, how strong we are as a people. Like, I knew how beautiful we were before. I knew how beautiful Black people were before. But I look at us differently now. I see more now within us.
Yeah.
And coming out of that box, I see more in humanity. I notice I write a lot about humanity
Okay.
and saving humanity and the things we do to get to bad points in life and the decisions we make to come out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm it's hard because I'm all over the place. So while I'm talking to you,
Yeah.
I'm writing.
Yes.
And when I'm talking to you, I'm seeing a new project.
Yes.
And when I'm talking to you, I'm thinking of what you said about the fact checker
Right.
and the self checker. So sometimes it's hard for me to even stay on point because I'm always like,
There's so many points.
yeah,
Which I think is fascinating.
Which
I
is
love the
good.
human brain,
yeah,
you know, because it is. There's so many pieces to it. There's so many thoughts and so many things you can think of
Yeah.
all at one time and very quickly.
people understand how powerful we are.
Yes.
People
Yes.
don't understand.
And so it sounds like your books and your movies are activating that in people, reminding
Yes.
people of that,
Yes.
tapping them, waking them up
Yes.
to that reality.
Yes.
What is the hope that you want people to have after they experience your work?
I want them to know that they can do anything. Like, there's no power like the power we have for ourselves and within ourselves. And you hear it all the time, but if you don't,
Experience it?
right, or take it in, you're not gonna get it. It's hard to put words to how powerful we are. It's hard.
Yeah.
There's no words for it.
Well, I think as people are watching you and listening to you, they can definitely see the sincerity of, and for those of you who want that reminder, you know, she mentioned several tips to do. Talk to yourself, that positive self-talk. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you are powerful. I recently
Yes.
did a speaking engagement, and there were about 425 girls from 5th grade through 12th grade. And I had them stand up and just chant, "I am powerful." Because that's nurturing that seed that's inside of
right.
us. You know,
That's
water
right.
it and know it, and also be wise with how you use your power. So you have these gifts, you have this creativity, you have this ability to create, and you're choosing to use it this way.
Right. So one of my prayers that I do constantly, and I could say on an everyday basis, is God, please guide me in my work because I want to help people. I'm not thinking about making money, being famous. I want a person to watch my film and say, you know, I got it, or it helped me, or now I know what to do to get out this situation.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just want to help,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
That's major. So now if we go back from the beginning with the fashion to now where you are now, what are the ways in which you see yourself helping people more in this artistic endeavor than you did in that artistic endeavor?
So what amazes my cast and why they say they like working with me is I don't want to come in making a film and I just want to direct because it's a title, it's a big deal, I'm the boss. No, I've asked a couple of my actors to direct things I write. I said, I don't want you guys just working for me. I was like, let me write something for you to direct.
Nice.
You know, I want them to help me. They help me with the cameras. They help me. So everybody's getting different experiences. It's not just you do what I say, you know, act the way I want to act. We just help each other.
Nice.
I said, so you can expand. If somebody else asks you to work with them, you know how to work a camera? Yeah, I learned that with, you know, Carona.
Yes.
So I can act and work the camera.
Now, of course, what I like about that, and now for those of you who don't know what the word Corona means, what does Corona mean?
Corona means crown in Spanish. It means crown. I have no idea why my parents named me that.
Okay.
I don't know. But my dad told me it means crown and royalty.
Yes, yes. And it's also what one sees when, like, the gas around the sun.
Yes.
So many times, like when there's even images, if you see drawings of like angels or the Christ or so forth, there's that glow that's there.
Yeah.
And so I'm just thinking how powerful it is that you're making sure other people are rising up. Like you're wearing the crown and using the power within you to empower
That's right.
others.
That's
to
what we're
shine light
supposed to
on
do.
others.
Yes. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yes.
It's our duty to each other to bring each other up.
All right. So now for those people who say, I might be interested in acting in one of her films or working with her, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
Well, I have a website,
Okay.
www.diopproductions.com, and I have all my information, telephone number, email, all of that on there.
Excellent.
Social media.
Yes. And so if people want to see the trailer of your movies, if they want to see the trailer for the book, where should they go for that?
The trailer for the book is on my YouTube, and that's at The Opening
Okay.
on YouTube.
All right. And so what do we have to look forward to? Because I know there's some upcoming projects.
Yes, you see, I take a big, deep
Yeah.
breath. More work. Movie I got, a book first called Venomous Kiss. And it's a murder mystery. It's going away from
Surprise,
supernatural a little bit.
right? Venomous Kiss. What a title.
Yeah, and it's going to be, it's glamorous.
Okay.
It's glamorous. You know, I'm going to put us in some ballroom, some gowns and some dresses and some, give us some power, make us some judges and lawyers and, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, got to build us up.
That's right. All
So
right.
I'm
so
excited
Venomous Kiss
about
is
that.
Coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something I also asked. That's a big project for me, and I asked one of my actors to come and co-direct with me.
Okay.
So it's about sharing the wealth.
Yes.
You know, people, you keep information to yourself for what?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, this is, on Dr. Walls and Friends, we do a lot of education because we want people, like you're saying, to be empowered, to know that they can do it too, be encouraged, and learn something.
Right.
Every show we're hoping people are walking away with at least one new piece of knowledge. Yes.
Exactly.
All right. So, inspirational words to the audience before we sign off.
Inspirational words: protect your work. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. No one. No matter how old or young you are, follow your dreams. You don't have to be miserable. You don't have to be scared. It's a scary place, but you don't have to be scared. Just go for it.
That's right. I agree. Go for it. So until we meet again, take care, God bless, and continue to live your greatest life.
Journey on, live my greatest life, yeah. Dr. Walls and Friends, 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 Dr. Walls and Friends.